morning and thank you all for joining us on this Monday, April 27th. You're watching our mid-morning edition of Arirang News. Coming to you live from Seoul, I'm Shin. Before we begin, these are the stories we're following at this hour. South Korea's parliament will go over a second coronavirus supplementary budget, which will be used to pay emergency disaster relief money to South Korean citizens. The government is already eyeing a third COVID-19 extra budget. South Korea continues to pour cold water on reports regarding North Korean leader Kim Jong-un's health, saying he's alive and well. And 2 years ago today, President Moon Jae-in shook hands with Kim at the border village of Panmunjom ahead of their first summit. Will the leaders offer a message marking the day? Plus, more affordable smartphones. Samsung begins taking online pre-orders today for its new Galaxy A31 ahead of its May 7th release date. This as all three major smartphone manufacturers, Samsung, LG, and Apple, race to boost their market share. After clashing over the details of the second extra budget bill designed to help South Korea overcome the coronavirus outbreak, lawmakers at the National Assembly are set to start reviewing the bill this Monday. Now, this comes as the South Korean government is set to draw up its third supplementary budget bill for this year to boost the job market. And that budget could amount to over $24 billion. Our Kim Hyo-sun reports.
On Monday, South Korean lawmakers will start the process of reviewing a second supplementary budget bill designed to pay emergency disaster relief money to citizens. This time, the target of the relief money has been extended to include all households from the original bottom 70% income bracket. The main opposition, United Future Party, is suggesting local governments adjust their expenditure to cover a portion of it rather than selling additional state bonds.
We need to be financing through our existing budget rather than issuing deficit-covering bonds. We urge the government and ruling party to adjust the budget to mobilize additional 1 trillion won from municipalities.
Such conditions were agreed upon by the ruling party, which called for the swift passage of the bill by Wednesday to have the support payouts ready for May 13th, as it had pledged.
The conflicts have been resolved, and we call for necessary procedures to be taken. I expect no more confusion.
The second budget bill, which was originally some $6.1 billion, has now almost doubled to $11.6 billion. Moreover, the South Korean government is planning to announce this year's third extra budget to support emergency job aid, which could top $24 billion. Finance Minister Hong Nam-gi said last week that the bill would be, quote, substantial to protect the country's job market following the biggest job losses in more than a decade in March due to the COVID-19 pandemic. This is the first time in half a century that South Korea has drawn up three supplementary budgets in a single year. Kim Hyo-sun, Arirang News.
Taking things to Europe, countries like Italy and Spain have been two of the world's hardest hit countries by COVID-19 outbreak. But the number of new infections and deaths appear to be on a downtrend in both countries after an unprecedented several weeks. Now, with the slowdown, Italy and Spain are beginning to announce the easing of restrictions on movements and economic activity. Our Lee Seung-jae with more.
Italy and Spain have both been slammed by the COVID-19 pandemic in recent weeks, forcing both into nationwide lockdowns. However, after a slowdown in the number of new COVID-19 cases, the two countries are preparing to loosen restrictions, with other nations watching to see how they emerge from their crippling lockdowns. Italy, once dubbed the epicenter of Europe's outbreak, recently saw its single-day death toll in the 200s for the first time in 6 weeks, a significant slowdown compared to the first few weeks of the outbreak. In an interview with Italian daily La Repubblica on Sunday, Italian Prime Minister Giuseppe Conte said the country will begin opening its economy, starting with the manufacturing sector as soon as May 4th. Schools, however, will not reopen until at least September. More measures to ease the lockdown will be announced this week. Spain, which has the second highest number of reported infections worldwide, has seen a single-day death toll drop below 300 for the first time in weeks. With the significant decline, Spanish health authorities have started to outline plans to move towards a new normal. On Sunday, children under 14 were allowed to go out to exercise for the first time since mid-March. Adults will be allowed to do the same from next weekend. A detailed plan on easing the lockdown will be released as early as Tuesday. The rest of Europe will look to Italy and Spain when they make decisions on how and when to reopen their respective economies. Experts say that while the lockdowns might have been seen as blunt, they were effective in slowing the rate of new infections. Lee Seung-jae, Arirang News.
The head of the Korea Centers for Disease Control and Prevention has published her first paper outlining South Korea's COVID-19 quarantine methods. Jong Eun-kyeong's paper, published in the latest issue of the American CDC's medical journal, concentrates on South Korea's epidemiological investigations and quarantine procedures last month during the country's biggest infection cluster. Now, the paper suggests the South Korean authorities' fast and strict quarantine measures helped to stem the spread of secondary infections to vulnerable groups. South Korea's top presidential aide on foreign affairs is downplaying speculation that North Korean leader Kim Jong-un is gravely ill. Speaking to CNN and Fox News, Moon Jong-in said Kim is, quote, alive and well, adding that he has been staying in the Wonsan region since April 13th with no suspicious movements having been detected so far. U.S. intelligence also sees no sign of unusual military activity that would suggest something out of the norm. Citing a senior Pentagon official, Newsweek reported that it has observed no indications or received any additional information to make a conclusive assessment on the status of North Korean leadership or health of its leader. It also added that regional militaries in the Western Pacific and Asia, including those of its partner nations, remain at readiness levels consistent with historical norms, and that the Pentagon continues to monitor the situation. Now, today marks an anniversary of significant importance. Exactly 2 years have passed since that famous day when the leaders of South and North Korea met for the first time for their summit at the Inter-Korean Truce Village of Panmunjom. In light of the anniversary, President Moon Jae-in will likely be highlighting the need to strengthen cooperation between the two Koreas. President Moon is scheduled to meet with his top aides this afternoon, where he's expected to reaffirm his commitment to implementing the Panmunjom Declaration and call for cooperation on healthcare amid the COVID-19 outbreak. The president could also lay out specific plans for cooperation in other areas, such as connecting railroads or resuming tours to the north. Now, this anniversary comes at a time of conflicting reports regarding the health of North Korean leader. And staying on that story, the summit prompted a flurry of developments in terms of inter-Korean cooperation as well as on denuclearization. But since February of last year, everything has ground to a halt. Facing the 2-year anniversary of the summit, South Korea is opting to push to revive inter-Korean cooperation, starting with railways first. Our Woo Jung-hee goes over the ups and downs seen over the past 2 years.
On April 27, 2018, the historic first summit between South Korean President Moon Jae-in and North Korean leader Kim Jong-un took place at the inter-Korean border village of Panmunjom. The resulting Panmunjom Declaration stipulated a number of promises, ranging from holding reunions of families separated by the Korean War and establishing a joint liaison office to President Moon Jae-in visiting Pyongyang in the fall. Most of them were carried out successfully, but there's still much work to be done to formally declare an end to the Korean War and realize a nuclear-free Korean peninsula. The Panmunjom Summit was a milestone event that ended 10 years of icy relations between the two Koreas. In 2018 alone, the two Koreas held talks 36 times, and 7,500 people crossed the land border as part of civic exchanges. The summit also led to the first ever North Korea-US summits that mainly dealt with North Korea's denuclearization. But since the second Kim-Trump summit in Hanoi in February last year broke down without a deal, the North Korea-US nuclear negotiations as well as inter-Korea relations have all hit a snag. Facing the second anniversary of the Panmunjom summit, South Korea is now working to get inter-Korean cooperation back on track, starting with a project to connect the two sides' railways.
This is a time when we need to maintain the momentum for inter-Korean exchanges and cooperation and to prepare for an opportunity to improve inter-Korean relations. This railway connection project in particular has been agreed upon many times since the year 2000 in the cabinet and in working level talks. It's something we should seek to make happen quickly.
How North Korea will respond to Seoul's initiative remains to be seen. But at least for the South Korean government, it's expected that the plan will get strong support from parliament, where the ruling Democratic Party now dominates after the recent general election. 오정희, Arirang News.
Shifting focus, now this year marks the 40th anniversary of the 1980 pro-democracy movement in Gwangju, when a military junta led by South Korea's then leader Chun pursued brutal crackdown of the people there. And today, the disgraced former President Chun will stand trial in the southwestern city of Gwangju on defamation charges linked to the 1980 Gwangju Democratization Movement. In his memoir published 2 years ago, the 88-year-old described the late priest Cho Chul-hyun, a person who testified that government forces tasked with imposing martial law had fired on protesters from helicopters during the incident, as, quote, Satan wearing a mask. Now, today marks Chun's second court appearance over defamation charges in little over 1 year. He also stood trial for treason and other charges in the late 1990s. Starting today, Samsung Electronics is taking pre-orders for its new lower-price smartphone model, the Galaxy A31. Other smartphone makers, LG Electronics and Apple, are also following suit, launching their own respective lower-price models next month. Our Jong-un tells us more.
Samsung Electronics is taking pre-orders from Monday for its new lower-priced smartphone model, the Galaxy A31, which will officially go on sale on May 7th. Pre-orders will be taken online, including through the official homepage of Samsung Electronics and other local online shopping malls. The Galaxy A31 features 4-camera lens with ultra-high resolution, and its battery capacity is higher than the Galaxy S series. The new model will retail for around $300. In addition, those who pre-order on certain online shopping malls, 11th Street and Coupang, will get a 20% discount. In May, LG Electronics and Apple plan to launch their own more affordable smartphone models too. The industry is targeting lower-priced models amid a slump in smartphone sales due to the COVID-19 outbreak. LG Electronics is expected to take pre-orders of its LG Velvet device from May 8th. It's expected to retail for around $640. Apple's second-generation iPhone SE is due to launch on May 6. In South Korea, the range will come with price tags of about $400 to $600 depending on its storage capacity. Yoon Jung-min, Arirang News.
Now to the sports. South Korean football star Son Heung-min's estimated transfer fee has exceeded that of Cristiano Ronaldo's for the first time. According to a global player market value on transfer market, Son's estimated transfer fee was 64 million euros, or $69.2 million US. And Son's estimate is the highest among all Asian players and 22nd among all the forwards in the world. Ronaldo, now 35 and several years older than Son, was ranked 24th with an estimated transfer fee of 60 million euros. Kylian Mbappe had the highest estimate with 180 million euros, followed by Raheem Sterling and Neymar.
Good morning. If you enjoyed yesterday's weather, chances are you'll enjoy today's as well. Daily highs will rise to the upper teens by the afternoon and we'll have sunny, clear skies with good air quality. But the air is very dry again with dry weather alerts in place for much of the country now. And the risk of wildfire will stay above average. Always be careful with fire. Many big fires are caused by small mistakes. The delightful spring weather will continue with much warmer temperatures to arrive as the week goes on. In fact, this Thursday marks Buddha's birthday and it's Labor Day on Friday. By then, it could feel like late May. That's Korea for you, and here's the international weather for news around the globe.
That's our time on Arirang News. As always, thank you for watching and goodbye.